Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Madmen with a Box Live. I'm one of your hosts, Pixel. Hi. I added the prof back, so live with that. Over there, you can see this one, OZChris.
Yep. You were pointing in the right direction. Yes, hello. We're beaming at ya.
Beaming at ya.
Beaming at ya. Take a good gander, folks. Ain't got no surprises.
I wonder if you liked the episode at all.
No, I fucking hated it, Pixel.
Look down below. You can see coming in through the moonlight is Joe of the Corallos.
It's true. Hello.
The god of Joes.
The god of Joes.
What would your rules be?
Oh, jeez.
I could only be defeated by a Joe without an E. Or a Joseph.
Yeah.
He can be only defeated by a cup of Joe.
There you go.
One copy. That'll be it.
What's the thing I don't do?
What's
Drink
the one
coffee.
Oh, you have to get the coffee out of his system. I get it now. This is going to be great. Yes, we are here. If we had any news to go ahead and try to buffer our way into the segment, we would, but we don't. There's no news right now because Doctor Who is on, and that is the news. Also, speaking of the news, there's Landry Q Walker. There we go. That's the news.
Whoa.
And hopefully we'll be joined by a Gevain soon, and then we'll have the full cast. But why don't we go ahead and get started around the table? Chris, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I never get to start. It's a miracle. You know what also is a miracle? A good RTD2 episode. So, okay. Jokes aside, I would say I'll start off with my negatives with this episode. I don't like that it's the second episode of the season. It's another God one. Yep. It happened last season. It happened again this season. It's like, oh my God. I felt like last season was the whole gods thing, so I don't know why we're continuing it. Whatever. The Doctor's somehow able to see the Harbinger sign outside from inside the theater. That's never explained. He just happens to see it and realize it says Harbinger. The stuff with the fans, I think we'll talk about this later on, but it kind of just stops the episode. It lingers on that for a bit too long. Other than that, I really enjoyed this episode. I had so much fun with it. Alan Cumming as Mr. Ringading, aka Lux, fantastic choice for that role. The animation for Lux is great. I had a look on the Doctor Who Unleashed. They apparently had one of the animators from Who Framed Roger Rabbit to help with the animation. I'm like, okay, I can tell with that style. Yes, you definitely got someone from Who Framed Roger Rabbit to do that. And I've seen a couple of people talk about this. This episode feels like I can see the Disney budget, especially with the animation. I think it really feels like sure, with the 60th, it was just the BBC, and I don't think there's any problems with the special effects otherwise with those three specials. But with this one, it does feel like I can see the Disney budget like creeping its way in. But other than that, I thought it was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. There's nothing overtly bad with it. I will say, even though I don't like that it's essentially we're just doing the Devil's Court again, this episode feels like, yeah, we're doing the Devil's Court again, but we're doing it better. This feels like what the Devil's Court should have been, at least with the whole like animation and all that. It works in this episode, unlike with like in the Devil's Court where, oh, music, and we're going to just chuck a music musical segment at the end of the episode. It has nothing to do with the actual plot. It just happens at the end of the episode.
And
Reginald feels more useful to the plot compared to the Beatles. But the Beatles, that we're here to see the Beatles, and here's the Beatles. They talk about, I don't know, maybe there is something we're missing. They disappear, and then they come back to play the last note, and that's it. Whereas Reginald, you could argue, same amount of screen time as the Beatles, has a bit more than the Beatles compared to them, especially with that whole like little thing with the only reason why he's kind of letting Lux do his thing and is okay with it is because Lux brings his wife back through projections, through the reels, and that whole thing. I really like that. So overall, I think it was a good episode. I really enjoyed this.
Joe of the Corallos, give us your opinion.
I don't know if I liked it quite as much as you, but I did like this episode. It was an improvement for me on the previous episode for sure. The Doctor and Belinda were having the kind of chemistry I wish they had right away. It's just it's much better balanced in this episode of I really want to get home, but I'm still going to have some fun along the way sort of thing, which I think you kind of need to make that dynamic work for a full season. So that was big for me. The fans stuff did like, not only did I feel it had negative impact on the pacing, I didn't like it taking me out of the story. Even though they make it clear shortly after that it's not actually like breaking the fourth wall, like the damage was already done and I got sucked out of it for like a minute, and then it's like, yeah, that's fine that's not, but you already kind of like got me to be like, oh, and that's not really like, I don't know, that sort of thing. It didn't really do anything. It only took from the story for me. It didn't add anything to it. And then even again, cutting back to them at the end briefly, like I need less fan stuff, because now we're 2 episodes in a row of Russell like making commentary directly on fandom, and it's like enough. Like it comes off like it's really thin-skinned, and
Russell,
especially after last season with the whole like expectations, subverting expectations with like, oh yeah, Ruby's mum was just a normal person. It's like, we gave her importance, and it's like, yeah, that's us. We're giving her importance, but the problem is you're also giving her importance, so you can't really say that.
He told us she was important.
Yeah.
Through story. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
No, exactly. So like that takes away from the story for me overall. Like it looks great. The animation's great. The sets, the time period, all that stuff, like it all worked for me. He has got to stop getting in the way of his own stories with this bullshit. Like, just like we could have just had that story, and we could there was more than enough to fill a whole episode, and it's just fine. But like it would have been better if it was just that stuff, because you get that, and you get the Mrs. Flood thing, and again you're sucked out because she's like breaking the fourth wall kind of, and like, why? I don't understand why it has to keep getting in the way of a pretty good story. Like it's baffling to me.
Okay. Landry of the Q Walk.
Oh no, you're next.
You. Okay, go.
Oh no, I don't.
Oh, I love this.
See, this is why I wanted
this.
Gevain here, because I wanted that buffer. We should just play a game where I make you all guess what I think of the episode. I think that would be more fun.
You absolutely hated it. You're acting right now. You're actually a professional actor. You're acting like you've liked this episode, but you actually secretly hate it.
No, this is great. This was great. I've watched it 3 times again. Once on my own, once with family, and then again before today. And you know what? There's also another thing that was pointed out to me. Listen, I love the haunted vibes of the cinema. It was locked from the outside. How did Reginald get out to like get food and stuff? It's been 3 months.
Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just living off candy.
3 months.
Surviving just by smoking. I don't know.
Well, that's what they did.
A wizard did it.
I've seen your fingers. No, I really love this episode. It was really good. You took the words right out of my mouth, Chris. This is the Devil's Cord, but better. And I really like the Devil's Cord, even with dealing with the twist at the end. This one actually does have a twist at the end, though. Yeah, the fan stuff. I'm either way about it. Like, as long as they're not real. I'm really annoyed with like the over analyzing. Like, oh, this is RTD making complete fun of us and trashing us. What? Just like I saw what is it? Bad Wolf, the Twitter account. They're a really positive influence in the Twitter sphere. But they said that they were watching with a roommate, and she was saying, well, that's kind of annoying, until she looked down and realized she was wearing the exact same Beep the Meep shirt. I thought it was fine. I'm glad that they were not real. That's what I needed. I needed that assurance that no, they're the fictional ones. And that helped. That certainly helped that scene. But overall, I really loved the episode. It was really great. And I mean, Mr. Ring-a-Ding is just so damn charming. It's great. Okay, Landry, go ahead. Oh God.
No. Bad.
You're wrong.
I love
Space
this.
Babies. It was better than Space Babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm excited.
I have, first off, okay. Clever resolution, right? Overfeed him with I have seen this so many times in comic books and other films, other things. Like, I have seen this solution. Everything about this episode I have seen. Okay. Even in Doctor Who, I have seen this all. And I was just so bored. Everything was intensely predictable. Everything about it's like, yep, that's what's going to happen next. Oh, and then the woman bursts in, and it turns out she was racist. Like, yeah, this isn't real. Oh, look, it's not real. Everything about this one, and the derailment of the momentum of we're gonna hang out with the fans. Cute scene. Further the plot? No. Did we need it? No. What was that for? If something does not advance your story, don't have it. You want to do an episode that's all about false realities and build something in and have these characters turn out they've never existed at the end. You could do something powerful with that. I've used that trope myself in a Supergirl book where a character died because they weren't real. That is a thing. Again, I've seen this all so many times. Was the animation good? It was fine. It was fine. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was fine. Ring-a-ding, yeah, again, the God thing. If this had been, I don't know, in the middle of last season, I might have warmed to that concept a little more, but it felt like we had a resolution on this. And why are we still here? And he talks about the gods as if the god of death itself was not the end all be all. And what was the giggle, I thought was more specific. I guess the giggle is a harbinger of all of them or something.
I guess it
Yeah,
follows.
that's one thing I don't like, is that the giggle seems to be now the Pantheon's thing instead of just the toy maker and Maestro, because family.
It just all felt just trite and overdone. And again, I have literally seen, I haven't been able to place it. I have literally seen, though, character absorb so much energy they become intangible and invisible. This is not new. And I will track down that source some point and bring it up in the middle of an episode 5 episodes from now and go, oh, by the way, I remember where it is now. But the acting was fine. I think the performances are fine. I like the Doctor. I like the actress as Belinda. I have no problems with them. I thought the guest characters' performances was fine. Nice that they gave this projectionist dude his own emotional arc. But where the hell did his wife come from? How did she manifest when all those manifestations are the whim of this being? Except then, how did the fans exist? Like, this episode had no coherent structure or rules to it.
Well, the fans go ahead and they say it themselves. They were created as a distraction, but because they watched the Doctor, they loved the Doctor, and so they went ahead and broke their own purpose.
So I saw the wife at the end as just maybe something symbolic. She's not actually really there. He has the matches in his hand regardless.
It's what he's...
I think it's just symbolic. Just to give him the drive to, I'll do this instead of Belinda.
And
the fans watching Doctor Who becoming real, they only exist when the Doctor was there, meaning they didn't exist before the Doctor showed up. And they had no experience watching the Doctor because they did not exist before the Doctor showed up. They just existed they were scripted, they were created, unless you want to say, oh, the cartoon dude was undermining his own existence on some level. Great, even on a subconscious level, maybe that would have worked better. If he created things that would undermine his own plan, that could lead to somewhere interesting for me. But it was just, I thought it was so banal.
And I agree with Sean. It's the fans who help the Doctor go ahead and...
Yeah, because that's what the Doctor needs. A bunch of fans that don't exist to figure it out for him. Yay!
I don't see it.
I'm not saying Sean is right. They did do that. I did not like that. I thought that was badly written. This Doctor needs to start figuring out the things for himself.
Considering that before the fans, the clues were already there. So so the Doctor wouldn't know, but we would. Mr. Ringading, after Lux takes over the cartoon, when he meets Sunshine Sally, she says, "I'm Sunshine Sally." He says, "No, don't give me sunshine." That's your first hint about how to defeat him.
Why doesn't he? So he knew that this would happen to him, but then he's like, "Yay, sunshine!"
Well,
I think
it's more to that. Once the power trip was starting, all that power suddenly, because he was trying to build himself a body so he could go outside and withstand light out there using the atom bomb.
Line saying, "I can now withstand light. I can now withstand the sun," might have sold that to me, but it was like, and I picked up on the possible implications of that, sure, but we shouldn't have to infer this necessarily. It should be more directly implied, or more stated. Was it passable? Sure. Did I have enough fun watching it? Sure. Would I ever watch it again? No. There's a lot of other things I could rewatch before this.
I will say though, and again, the fans in the episode pointed out, I felt like the whole "don't make me laugh" should have been a thing.
Don't make me laugh.
Because he says it a few times, but then that's the lead up to the whole giggle to reveal that he's part of the Pantheon. And I thought, yeah, but then when he first appears and then he puts the people in the film reel, he says, "And remember, don't make me laugh." I thought that was going to come back. Like, okay, maybe to defeat him or something, you got to make him laugh or something, because he's a cartoon. He's supposed to bring joy and entertain people, maybe make people laugh if it's like a comedy. So if you make him laugh instead, Like, I don't know, but it only served for the giggle.
Yeah. And it did not go anywhere.
But then the fans point out, oh, his motivation changed. It's like, the thing is, like, I'm kind of with Pixel. I'm here or there with the fan thing, but it doesn't help. It's just like, it's like what I have with 73 yards when Kate says, oh, so there's some things we just don't understand, and we try to apply rules to them. That feels like that's RTD saying, yeah, this doesn't make sense, and you're going to try and make sense of it, but that's the point. I don't,
That's
with the fans saying
right.
like, oh, we're telling you everything. Oh, the motivation has changed. That's trying to hide the kind of criticism of like, yeah, but we're pointing it out, so it's okay.
I do have to go ahead and say I really, because this is just the Devil's Court but better. It really is. And I like the Devil's Court. But touching on that again, I really like the Doctor more in this one, because I feel like even though he does have less control, he feels like he has more. Like, his performance gives off the impression that he has his head.
And I'll add that the Doctor companion dynamic is better here, because for some reason in Devil's Court they had to add the whole we've been traveling for 6 months, even though it is the second episode of the series.
Yeah.
And it's working on this basis that they've already known each other for this 6 months. So it's like, oh, you've never run away from anything, Doctor. It's like, from our perspective, you literally just met him the 2 episodes prior. So that connection, that familiarity doesn't work. Whereas in here, it's straight up after the first episode. Now, granted, you could argue it's a bit rushed in parts with the Doctor and Belinda's relationship. Like, it really does feel like it's like, because it's a limited series, they have to rush certain aspects. But I feel like the Doctor companion duo here was much better than in Devil's Court, because it's like, I don't really believe you have this kind of connection where the Doctor's told you everything, and we just have to trust that you have this kind of bond.
Yeah. And also, I will go ahead and say, because I do watch with my family. I watch with my mom, and she liked this one quite a bit too. This one is the first episode, because last week I didn't really see anything, but my feeds have been popping up more with Doctor Who stuff for this episode. I think this one it really drew some eyes because of that, because of the animation.
It's flashy.
It is
very
flashy.
And people like that. People like flashy. It did succeed in that. It'd be nice if it had better substance behind it.
You know,
Much
I
like
also
the cartoon
prefer Drowning to the other alternatives we've had, because every time he has to defeat him, banish him, kill him in some way. This is the first time he's not actually. Lux doesn't actually die. He just becomes too much. He gets taken by the light and becomes.
Yeah, he's a god of light, except he can't stand the sun. If he gets too much light, he just becomes absolutely nothing but everything.
Like a real god. I liked it. I like that. I don't know.
To be fair, a lot of the whole Pantheon thing, a lot of it doesn't really. Like, Maestro is the god of music, but doesn't want music.
Yeah.
It's like,
either.
Yeah, that shouldn't be like nothing but music, not the whole like. But then they tried to write in the whole like, no, it's the music of nothingness.
I want
the complete silence.
Oh,
that song, and it's like, really? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
These are all facets of the Toymaker. If in the end of this, every single god we've seen has just still been the Toymaker, and the Toymaker was never actually defeated, and it's just like aspects of the Toymaker taking on different forms. At the end, he has to face the Toymaker again, and maybe David Tennant comes back into it or something like that, and they resolve this whole bi-generation, and David Tennant dies. Okay, that could solve some of it for me, but as it is right now,
that's another nitpick. Slight negative nitpick. The bi-generation energy. Saying that, I had leftover bi-generation energy. It's like, we have seen that the Doctor would just use regeneration energy to heal either himself or someone else long after a regeneration. I don't know why it has to be this whole, I still had bi-generation energy just lingering from when I first bi-generated. It's like,
you just want to say they don't want to say bi-generated. They want to keep saying
but
it.
the thing is, that was something I noticed too. It was a weird choice because he's already talked about regeneration. He told Ruby, "Oh, the Time Lords, we can regenerate." He didn't say bi-generation then. He said regenerate. So
I've never
I don't
been
know
a
why
fan of this usage of regeneration energy. I do not like it in any of its instances. I did not like it when River Song did it. I didn't mind it so much that she did it at a cost, which is visited with the Fifth Doctor when which one is it with is it Modern? I don't remember the
is Mordrin undead? Yeah.
When they want to steal they want to take his regenerations, and he's like, you don't understand, I'll die. That's how many regenerations I have left. I'm done at that point, and I don't want to give that up. I thought that was so. And regeneration as a resource has been visited in 5 Doctors. The Masters offered a set of regenerations. We see some implication that played out when the Master returns during David Tennant era, where he says, they gave me a new set of regenerations. So regenerations is a form of currency or having something they can spend. Okay, but this is there's no cost benefit analysis going on here. The Doctor just, oh, I'm hurt. Ooh, magic. Like, this has now become one of the Doctor's superpowers.
But most of the time, there's implied, but we don't actually see that ever coming to fruition.
But
this was
the
too
other
casual
thing,
of usage.
The other thing is, it doesn't matter anymore, really. Like, he doesn't have a number. They got rid of the end game.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's just more bad writing, because one of the things that made the Doctor very interesting to me anyway was that the regenerations have a limit. There is a mortality. It's beyond our mortality, but the Doctor was still a mortal being. Now, being given another set of regenerations, maybe he gets a reset, but there's still a cap. The idea that, well, now they've just given him limitless regenerations, well, I guess which they did with the Timeless Child. I think we know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So,
but sadly, we're not walking that back.
They could, though. They could. We saw that happen with the Eighth Doctor movie. They walked back the Doctor as half human. Any of this could be rewritten or walked back, but they're choosing not to, and I am choosing to criticize it.
That's fair. I'm still gonna go ahead and say that I agree with Chris. I think that this is absolute cinema.
You don't need to suck up to me. I don't give anything in return.
Okay, I'm not sucking up to you. I'm agreeing with you, buddy.
You should, but
give it a number. How about that?
Me? Okay, if I had to rate this, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Even with some nitpicks, some stuff I didn't like, I really enjoyed this episode. At the end of the day, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's a Doctor Who episode in probably a long while where for me, it felt like I didn't have to complain the entire time or try to be like, it's not that bad, but like these past few episodes, like I would say since Rogue, it's just been like bad. This was fine. This was fine with asterisks. Now to Lux, where I'm like, I really enjoyed this episode, and it reminds me that I should be enjoying Doctor Who, and I enjoyed the Doctor Who for this episode.
Okay, Joe of the Corallos.
All right. Again, like I definitely liked it more than the first episode this season. I'm not as sold on it. I think I gave the first episode like 3 out of 10, something like that.
It's pretty low,
yeah. So, I mean, based on that, I like this a good deal more, but I still have a lot of issues with it. So, like, I'll give this one a 6 out of 10. I think I liked it more than I didn't like it, but I still have a lot of problems with it.
I realized, Chris, did you give it a number? I don't remember you saying.
Is it
number.
8?
Yeah, you give it an 8.
Oh,
yeah.
8. Okay. Landry.
Oh no,
you
you're
only
next.
need one ranking?
You're next.
No, Landry goes last.
Okay. I'm giving it a 9. I agree with Sean. 9 out of 10. This was really great. All 3 times I watched it.
4.5.
Okay.
4.5. Oh, is Sean predicted lower than that at 2?
You predicted.
No, okay. So, good guess because, Sean, hats off to you. I did initially think 2, but I rethought, like, that's not fair in a lot of levels because there are definitely episodes that are worse than this. I'm not even counting the 13th Doctor era. Just within the 15th Doctor era, there are episodes I dislike more than this. It's very important not to set to unrealistically go too low, too much of a bottom with this. And just like I think it's important not to go too high with it. This is no Dot and Bubble to me. This is no Rogue to me, both of which I thought were excellent. This to me is also not a Snot Monster Baby One or a 72 Yards, which I loathed. This is to me probably, it has some good things, some great acting, some good visual, some very nice visual effects, especially as he becomes more real. And the characters, some good character arcs, at least as pointed out. The Beatles were just there as a stunt. This projectionist has an arc. I don't like the technical side of the resolution of it, and I feel like I've seen it all before, but at least it is there. So 4.5, because I don't want to be unfair. That's my kind, reserved judgment.
Okay. Gevain, not only do you get to give us a review of what you thought about this episode, but you can also give us a number at the end.
I'll interrupt first before I let Gevain speak and give a rating. I did see someone say with the whole like Mr. Ring-a-Ding becoming more 3D and more detailed that you could see that as a criticism of the Disney live action remakes, where it's like, oh, if we take something that's animated and we're bringing it to live action, it's not going to look as good. So with Mr. Ring-a-Ding becoming more 3D and looking like a still image from SpongeBob, where they just throw an really grossly over detailed image, it's like I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
If that's what they were going for.
It'd be an interesting commentary.
Yeah. Because he becomes like, when he becomes more realistic, he becomes more disgusting.
Grotesque.
So I could see that as like a kind of a commentary on like these live action remakes where it's like of something that was originally animated.
But at the same time, he becomes increasingly benevolent and at peace through that process. So if they'd done something early on where it makes him what he's initially just fairly innocent, realizes his real boy dream, and then becomes a monster, that would be...
I'm sorry, I have to disagree because he does go ahead, and as he becomes more real, he doesn't. He becomes more powerful in the way he's going, but when he gets revealed to the sun, he reverts back to that innocent child cartoon.
Oh, he does turn back to a cartoon, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But Gevain, thoughts.
It's all you. It's your show now.
It's your show now.
No, it sounds like you guys have probably hit all the points. I think from what I was hearing from Landry saying at the end of it, I think this is much like last week's episode. Yeah, I'll start off with the number, which I think it's 5 with an asterisk. It's something there's a lot of, and because I agree with Landry, it's not like you want to start going super negative on these, because I actually enjoyed the episode in a lot of ways. I really enjoyed the episode in a lot of ways. I thought there was a lot of potential, much like last week's episode, Robot Revolution. Like I thought it was a clever bit, the whole thing of when the cop comes in with the lady from the diner to hold him up, and it's like the doctor, is like playing along, but it's just like, come on, like your continuity is terrible, with the whole thing of the cop being, a police officer, New York officer in Miami-Dade, and even the way the demeanor of the mother is coming off, like, who is this lady, and she's lying and blah blah blah. I don't know what everyone else said about the 3 fans is showing up, but I like them only because they repped for my favorite episode of all time, which is Blink, which I thought that was a cute bit. So I think there was a lot about the episode to like. Much like last week's episode, I really did like the aesthetic of it. I love the effects of. I didn't like the name that the ringer ding. I do prefer Lux Imperator, so that worked for me a lot. And it was just something where it was a good episode. I could see where like there's some flaws here and there. Like it feels like on a certain it feels like how can I say it? It feels like a greatest hits kind of thing, like in terms of tropes of Doctor Who, but like they don't just quite go for it. So like if I had to say one of my major criticisms of the episode was the guy who I can't remember the film projectionist guy, and
Mr.
the fact that his Mr. Pye, and the fact that his wife had been brought back by the Lux as, the hologram, whatever. I think they could have played that up a little more with the 3D wife projection being a little bit more of evil, if you will, a little bit more of like a seductive figure that he had to resist and overcome in order to do the right thing. I think the fact that she was kind of helping him, it was a missed opportunity, if that makes sense. And I think they could have just ramped. I think it was a lot of good stuff, and if they had just ramped it up a little bit more, I think this episode could have been like a 6 or 7. I don't think it's
that would have made a huge difference for me, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah. I just thought that. Yeah, I just thought that I just thought he had to overcome clearly he had been drawn in, and he's now trapped, and willingly, like a bird in a gilded cage, by his dead wife being brought back, and Lux tempting him with that. It just should have been more of a struggle for him to overcome than what it was. Like the fact that the projection was benevolent and there was no real build up to it. It wasn't like she was doing Lux's bidding and then she turned at the last minute. Like you could have had the projection like kind of fall in love with Pye in a way and like kind of rebel, if you will. So it's just like, if I had to describe the episode in 2 words, I would say almost there. That's how I felt like. It was like everything, it was almost there. But I will say this. It feels like they're heading in the right direction. That's what, I'm going to side with Pixel here from last week. I get where he's coming from now. It's like, it feels like they're heading in the right direction. They're not there. It's like they keep getting, it's like they're almost there, but they just keep missing the mark. But it's like, if they can turn the corner on this, like by the 3rd or 4th and just like really find their footing, this might be a good season. Again, I am going to piss on Mrs. Flood showing up at the end, because again, and that's what another part of where the asterisk comes off. If they pay this off, then all of these episodes will get bumped up a notch or 3. If they pay this off, if it turns out to be very incomplete pieces of a puzzle that by the time you get to the end of it, it's like, oh, okay. And it will force me to rewatch all of these to see the I didn't see the masterpiece as it was being put together. But in terms of like, it wasn't great. Like it didn't like it just felt like they should have swung for the fences on some of these like tropes that they had in the episode. But by no means, like what Landry was saying, is this terrible. So it's 5 with an asterisk for me.
Okay. I do want to go ahead and touch upon what Sean is saying here at the end, on what his Harbinger could actually be. I know the sign goes ahead and says it.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the movie. It's the name of the movie. That's the Harbinger. Because it's Harvest Bringer.
I know. But the thing is, when we watch The Devil's Court, because we've been talking about that one a lot, because this is, the Harbinger survived. the kid was alive at the end.
Yeah, but that's not. But
The
then
Harbinger came
Sutek has
back.
his own Harbinger, and it's not the kid. It's
No,
Harriet.
It's Harriet. Yeah. So yeah, I think Harriet died. Giant space laser. But that one survived. I think the sign itself is just supposed to be, it's not a real Harbinger, it's just to tie it in. But it's still something that I think about because the kid's still alive. Why?
I think there's a danger in assuming that this has been that well thought out. And maybe I'll be wrong. But Russell T Davies' greatest hits here, I mean, Bad Wolf was done, it was just seeded in, and it was very casual. It wasn't a master plan. It was just, very subtly put in, and it worked. There is no major thorough lane, I think, of concept. The Torchwood thing is like, sure. And what's his next one with the David Tennant? The next two David, like, yeah, I mean, Russell T Davies is not actually that subtle of a writer, so I just don't think that that's going to be a
something touched upon again. It might not be.
I think it's just like the Dream Lord. I think it's a Dream Lord sort of moment. I know that wasn't Davies, but still.
It was funny how they all said blink. I know. I know.
So the real question is, when do you guys think? What do you guys think Tennant is coming back during this season?
I said that they could resolve some problems I have with it with this whole God thing by having it turn out that this has all been the toy maker and they're still trapped in the game, and that it never ended. This is all the toy maker's game.
Well, it's funny because in the novelization, after the toy maker is defeated, I think it goes to like him stuck inside the box waiting for the next game. So he's just still in there waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, I think we'll get to see some of those gods again.
I hope not. I want
it
it to be done after this season. I don't want any more gods.
I meant to get to see the toy maker again. But
okay.
I mean, they've done so much with it that they've like. It's like this was my problem with Missy coming in as the master. The same problem they had when, Anthony Ainley's master was constant. When you have these threats, these menaces, when David Tennant first encountered the master, John Sim as the master, you got a sense of just how intense this was through his reaction. But when these characters are ever present, the gods now are becoming banal. The more we see them, the more contempt we have for them, so to speak, familiarity. They're being overused to the point where like, it's just another god. Doctor Who defeats them all the time.
Law of diminishing returns.
That was my main concern with this episode before it aired. It's like, if this is going to be Devil's Court again, it's another god. It's like, I know, of course it's Doctor Who. The Doctor's going to win at the end, but it's like with the god things, it's like after Sutek, it should have been done.
When David Tennant's reaction to the Toymaker showing up was very similar to his reaction to the Master showing up, and it worked in both cases because they're escalations. But the more you do it, the less I care.
Even then, I really like this episode. I get that, but this episode was really good to me.
Did Sean had a second question? Didn't he?
About how they handled segregation.
I do like the Doctor's speech about it. It's just like, I topple worlds, and sometimes I wait for someone to topple the world. It's like, the Doctor will be there to help Earth, but he shouldn't be there to fix every problem.
Yeah, this is the first time that this Doctor has stepped back and faced anything from the past. We have future racism. He's dealt with future racism. He hasn't dealt with past racism.
Yeah.
It's not a big part of the story, but
it was pretty good. It was
I
had some like it when the 13th Doctor in the Rosa episode encounters that racist couple in the beginning and is basically like, let's not make waves. Let's not cause problems. That irked me. I want to see the Doctor make waves. I want to see, like, if you're going to put the Doctor in a situation surrounded by racists, I don't know that I really want to watch the Doctor accept it. And I get that there's a danger in trying to suggest the Doctor can change our own history, but I mean, you wrote the Doctor into that situation to begin with, and to have the Doctor who basically faces injustices all the time and says, "No, enough. I'm drawing a line here," to go, sometimes we can't fight it. And I just, we gotta let the racism happen.
They didn't actually. They faced segregation, but the people in the diner were not.
Yes, they did not face.
To Landry's point, so two things. So when 12 and Bill had to deal with this, to Landry's point, I forget what the episode was when they went to like Victorian England, I think it was.
Yeah.
He dealt with the issue. He spoke on it. She actually was getting on him because she thought he was like going along with it. And he was like, what did he say? Passion fights, reason wins. But he still spoke on the issue and dealt with it and showed that he did care. I think to Landry's point, they kind of got around the segregation thing this bit by doing one very different thing than they did in Rosa. They showed up at 4 a.m. with all the races.
It's still early. There's only 3 people in that area.
Basically.
That is the only reason.
And as far as we know, 2 of them were kind of okay with just like breaking the rules.
There you go.
Because it's like there's no one here, no one's gonna cause a fuss.
I still think about the 12th Doctor just throwing a punch.
Just throwing a punch, yeah.
Just throw a punch.
And that's one of the things what I liked about Lux. I think like kind of the subtle meta commentary was like, especially we had the fans, is it felt like part of this was like, okay, guys, yeah, thanks for taking shots at us for the last 3 years. So we're gonna address it a certain way. Everything you're talking about. Oh, you didn't like Rosa? Okay, you know what? Screw you. We'll have the show up at 4 a.m. How do you like that?
they actually said #RIP Doctor Who, and I was like,
again, that's another thing where it's like Russell's trying to like poke at the criticism, be like, we're aware of it, and it's like, you're not. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. It's not a problem that affected only his era. Moffat had leaks, Chibnall had leaks, but it's like it feels like nowadays it's consistent. Everything from the 60th onwards has been leaked, and I feel like you should be investigating Bad Wolf Productions to see who the hell is leaking this, because it's happened It's happened for every season so far with RTD.
It's really
I
happening
think leaks are intentional.
But I mean, it's happening for everything. Everything too ends up getting leaked. That's
true. But then going out of your way in the episode to like reference it, it's like, oh, this was leaked online. I already knew it was going to happen. It's like, you're aware it's happening, but you're not doing anything about it. I'd feel like I wouldn't want my stuff to be leaked. I want people to experience it on the day. I feel if
I don't watch
a lot of the leaks didn't happen, a lot of us wouldn't be like, we know how this is going to happen. We've already shaped our view of I was hoping that the bi-generation thing wasn't going to happen because I saw that leak. I'm like, that sounds stupid. That sounds lazy. He's doing 2 Doctors again. And then it happened, and I'm like, and I was really enjoying the giggle. And then it happened.
But isn't that the dig he's taking when Flood starts talking about the 24th, like May 24th?
Even though the series ends on the 31st.
But
exactly. Exactly.
Yes, I know. In the show, they're trying to get back to May 24th because that's when the first part of the finale will start.
That's what. But
it's funny. It's like, oh yeah, May 24, limited time only until May 24. It's like yes and no, Russell.
The plan is for it to end on the 24th, but it will survive despite that. There was something else I was going to say. Oh no, the thought left my mind. It's gone.
Yeah, but I love that the way to deal with, if you're a time traveler, the way to deal with racism, when you go into the past, hey, just show up when they're all asleep.
3 in the morning.
Just go when they're asleep.
Yep.
It's either you take the 12th Doctor approach of just punching them, or just go when they're asleep.
How many times will the 15th Doctor show up when everyone's asleep? I wonder. Maybe they'll just make it a running thing. Every season there's an episode he goes to the past, but no, don't wake anyone up. We don't want to disturb the racists.
Well, I don't know.
I will say though, given his handling of other like messaging and stuff, Russell isn't really the kind of guy I would trust to do something with like a commentary on racism in the past. I mean, his stuff with like
he doesn't have to.
That's the thing. He doesn't have to, but with how he's handled certain other matters, like with Rose in the 60th, the whole like with trans issues, it's like in some parts, yes, it's done well, especially with having Donna and her mum be like, Donna is like supposed to represent modern times of acceptance. Sylvia is the one of like, she's still kind of stuck, but she's making an effort to like improve. But then Russell then saying, oh, Rose's dead name. And it's like, no, we don't mention the dead name. It's a dead name. Don't give it meaning, Russell. That's not something you should be doing. Where it's like, I understand that these are issues he cares about. It's just how he's portraying them in stories. It's like, I think you should have got someone else to maybe have a look through these to maybe fine tune them a bit.
And I think that's the thing, and that's how I'm feeling about these last two episodes. It feels like there's a lot more mileage that could have been gotten out of some of this stuff if somebody else were doing it. It's like there's a lot of seeds of like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and it just doesn't quite get over the finish line. But it's like, yeah, it's yeah. Go ahead. I think some people got some of the numbers they got to get in, or
I don't know.
Nope.
No.
But just remember, kids, the racists eventually have to sleep, so everything's good. They got to go to sleep
the
sometime.
thing that will defeat racism, they need to sleep.
Sleep.
Who knew it was that easy?
None of the racists worked a graveyard shift.
There you go.
I think for one, I think for this episode, I think it worked. It worked fine. That's just.
It wasn't the central conflict of the episode,
Oh, no.
And I do how like the Doctor is kind of approaching it. It's like it's still going into the whole thing that he shouldn't be there to fix everything for humanity. Sometimes humanity has to, and depending on how they do it, they should handle it.
Let's be
their
fair.
own way.
Russell did I don't know who wrote it, if Russell wrote it or not, but either way, during this era, Dot and Bubble handled a lot of this brilliantly.
That was Russell.
And also tackled class as well at the same time, right? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But see, but different. I still see we will have to see if we get another episode that's set in the past. If we go ahead and they're actually putting that to the front of the episode, I don't know.
Well, we could compare Dot and Bubble to Rosa. We could do a face-off.
Well, at the end of the season, maybe that's what we should do.
All right.
You wanted us to talk about Rosa because.
Yes, we need a Rosa review redux. But I'm willing to throw them into the gladiatorial arena against Dot and Bubble and just have at it.
Hey, we only have.
Chris will be
What
gone.
is this? The second episode?
This is like 2, 4. We got 6 episodes left.
When do you leave, Chris?
18th of May.
Okay.
So just the day after the 6th episode.
When do you come back?
The 29th of June. No, actually, I go back to work on the 30th of June. I come back on the 22nd of June.
Just detour to San Diego Comic-Con a few weeks later and just check out.
Wait, so you leave the 18th of May?
I leave on the 18th of May. I come back on the 22nd of June.
Oh,
Gevain, do you go to San Diego at all?
We're going to have a lot of weeks.
Say it again.
Do you go to San Diego at all?
Oh no, I ain't got San Diego money, bro.
It costs.
Joe can tell you I barely had C2E2 money. No.
Yeah. If we all just knew somebody that would let us crash on their couch, then we'd all be fine. We'll stack up.
Right.
I can get you onto the show.
You can't
at
bring
least
the
a couple
couch,
you
though.
can get yourselves in pretty easy, I'm sure, but still.
But yeah, I think that's our show, guys. I think that's our show. You at home watching, let us know your thoughts. Put them down below. Also, like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. We will be back next week because guess what? There's more Doctor Who, and we're all hoping that bring some. I'm cautiously excited. Cautiously.
So am I, given what I've heard about what this could possibly be.
I heard it might be a sequel to a story.
Spoilers. I know nothing.
Okay. Well, we won't go into spoilers. We'll have to find out next week. But until then, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And Alonze.
Fight racism by going to sleep.